you can see the low clouds covering the tops of the buildings not far from here. It is a cool evening, and this is the first of 4. And when you look at the American League East, everything is bunched up. Only 3 games separate the top from the bottom. And the reason why? Because everybody in the East is beating up on each other.
You know, you and I have talked about this, that each team, we feel like in the American League East, has their problems or their warts, however you want to say that. So those are going to be exposed when you play each other. Blue Jays are playing so many of their teams within their divisions, they're beating up on each other. But in all of baseball, this is the best division, the most wins within the divisions, because they're so good. There really isn't one really great team and a couple of really bad teams. There's just a lot of good teams, and that's going to make for a great summer and a lot of competition all year long.
Take a look at the last 12 meetings of the Blue Jays here in Cleveland, and they have fared very well. They have won 8 of those 12 games. They've pitched well here. And despite the fact they haven't hit as many home runs as Cleveland, they've outplayed them in their own ballpark.
Yeah, they're scoring more runs and they're pitching better. They've won some of those games, some comeback victories. They've won some games in the 9th inning. It's always a good place to visit.
It is 8 degrees here in Cleveland, and the breeze is blowing in from right. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. It's been a rough road trip for them. They're 1-5 on a road trip, and as a team, they're hitting just .214. But things are about to change. Josh Donaldson, in his 11 games, his past 11 games here in this ballpark, look at his numbers. 13 for 39 with 4 homers, 13 RBIs, and their OPS over 1. Edwin Encarnacion against left-handed pitching has fared much better, 3.08 average, and that's what he'll deal with tonight. Danny Valencia is in right field because of the left-hander on the mound, T.J. House.
This is T.J. House looking for his first win of the season. Impressive last year with the Indians. He ended 2014 on a 4-game win streak, but he has had trouble carrying that over to 2015. He's also had trouble pitching deep into the games. He's beaten by Detroit twice this year. They've really hammered him in Minnesota. He's lasted just 10 innings over his first 3 starts this season.
Take a look at the defense for Cleveland. They've committed 13 errors to this point. Michael Brantley's had some injury issues early in the season with his back problem. Michael Bourne, good speedster in center. In right, it's Brandon Moss. Chisenhall and Navitas on the left side. Kipnis and Santana on the right side. And Roberto Perez is the catcher.
And he's got some big shoes to fill, Roberto Perez, behind the plate for the Cleveland Indians. They lost Yan Gomes, their Gold Glove type catcher. So Roberto Perez got some big shoes to fill.
Devin Travis takes ball 2. It's 2-0 to Travis leading off. Devin 6 for 21 on his road trip. He has got a gaudy batting average at .342. House is not going to overpower you. He's going to rely an awful lot on movement and location.
He's also going to rely on some of that deception. You see him how he starts out. He hides the ball well and comes from that 3/4. There's the deception right there. Devin Travis just could not pick that ball up.
No, he turns his back to the hitter, and it's difficult to find that baseball coming out of that white uniform.
He locates well. That 2-seam sinking fastball is his best pitch.
Right back to House. He'll run it over to first, underhanded to Santana, 1 down. Josh Donaldson is hitting in the 2-hole. Boy, has he taken to it. Take a look at his numbers by the batting order spot. Second, he's hit .471 with 4 homers and 10 RBIs. He's hit third a lot, but boy, he has really gotten hot since they moved him up into that 2-hole.
Yeah, I asked him about that, and he said, you know, it's not that they're pitching me any differently. They're still pitching me the same. My timing's getting just a little bit better, and I'm hitting pitches that before I was fouling back or popping up.
Donaldson's had a good road trip. 7 for 20 and a home run and 3 RBIs. This is a little tapper. Chisenhall, the third baseman, cuts in front of the shortstop, and Donaldson is out. Well, the Blue Jays are going to have to gear down a little bit, as they aren't going to get an awful lot of good hard fastballs. It's going to be off-speed, sinking fastballs, and a lot of changeups.
Yeah, they haven't faced too many left-handed pitchers this season. They faced a lot of right-handers who throw hard with great sliders. Tonight, a lot different. I think they're going to have to think about the middle of the field just a little bit more because of that sinker.
Jose Bautista. There's only one batter in this Blue Jays lineup that has faced House in the past. That's Danny Valencia. Another ground ball, not hard hit. Aviles throws on the run. 3 ground ball outs for T.J. House. He retires the side in order. 3 up, 3 down. When we come back, Daniel Norris will take the mound against Cleveland for the first time in his career. His 15th season overall as a big league manager, and Francona had a meeting with his club on Monday. He said, "Don't panic, it's early." Take a look at the lineup. This team has hit .234 as a team, and it's Kipnis, Aviles, Brantley, Santana, then Brandon Moss, and he's starting to heat up. He's in his first year with the Indians, and over his last 7 games, he has 8 for 24, 3 homers and 12 RBIs. Ryan Rayburn right behind him, and he has stacked him right behind that powerful bat. He's a right-hander that wears out left-handed pitching.
And it's an interesting lineup, one that Daniel Norris will face tonight. We'll get into that a little bit later. Daniel Norris, just his 6th career start, and had his best start, I thought, in his last time out. Career-high 7 innings, allowing just 1 run. Also career-high in strikeouts with 7.
And Norris choosing not to wear those undersleeves. It's 8 degrees at the start of this game here in Cleveland. This is Jason Kipnis. Kipnis had a 4 RBI game in last night's game, a win over Kansas City. It was significant because the Indians had a total of 1 RBI from the leadoff spot prior to that game by Kipnis.
Just getting nothing out of that leadoff spot.
Encarnacion will go to the bag and beat Kipnis for the first out of the inning. Edwin playing at first for the 11th time. Let's take a look at the rest of the defense. From left to right is Pompey, Pilar, and Danny Valencia making his first start in right field. On the infield, Donaldson and Jonathan Diaz making his first start of the season at shortstop. Devin Travis and Edwin Encarnacion. Russell Martin, his 19th start behind the plate for Daniel Norris.
Blue Jays going to go with a platoon at shortstop. So with the left-hander on the mound, Jonathan Diaz will get his first start tonight.
Jonathan made his first start last year in Game 2 of the season against Tampa Bay down in St. Pete. Got his first big league hit in that game.
Also because of an injury to Jose Reyes.
This is Mike Aviles, the shortstop. Aviles and Kipnis have 2 of the most unusual batting stances in that they waggle that bat, but when that front foot hits the ground, that bat is right over his back shoulder.
He's got a little bit of Gary Sheffield in him, doesn't he? You see how he waggles that bat and where it is? Right in front of his face, a lot like Sheffield. He can turn on a fastball. You make a mistake, and Mike Aviles can hurt you.
The ball is hit into center. Kevin Pilar, the center fielder, over in the alley a bit. That wind blowing it toward right center. 2 down for Norris here in the first.
Normally the ball blows out to right center field. here at Progressive Field. You can see all the changes that they have had in the stadium now. They've opened it up just a little bit more in center field, but as the summer goes along, that ball is going to start shooting out to that jet stream in right center. There's some more of the changes. That's called the corner. It's like a party area. They took out 6,000 seats.
Now, how did they come up with that name?
I guess because it's in the corner. On the corner of Carnegie and Ontario.
That's where it is. It's on the corner. This is Michael Brantley. Blue Jays know all about Michael Brantley. He has worn them out for his career. 365 career average. He's got 35 hits in 24 career games against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he hits the ball all over the field. Been battling with some back problems early in the season. Missed a week in spring training with the back problem. Started opening day and then sat out another week.
Drives this ball to the alley in left center, and that's going to split the outfield as Pompey plays it. Here's the throw back to second. It's offline, and he continues to wear out the Blue Jays. Lefties, righties, it doesn't make any difference to Michael Brantley.
Well, he wears them out because he hits the ball where it's pitched. He can pull the ball, or if the ball is away like this one right here, he just goes right with that pitch from Daniel Norris and slices it into the gap in left center field. He's a good hitter. Third in the American League MVP last season, so he knows what he's doing up there.
Norris hasn't faced many left-handed hitters this season. Brantley, of course, a lefty. That's just the 11th plate appearance there has been for left-handed batters against Norris. This is the switch-hitting first baseman, Carlos Santana.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. A little bit different lineup this time out for Daniel Norris to face. There's 5 left-handed batters in the lineup for the Cleveland Indians tonight. Last time against Tampa,
0.
He got none. 25 righties.
That ball gets away from Martin, but Brantley wasn't sure how far away it was from the catcher, so he stays put. He's already in scoring position. You mentioned the lefties in the lineup prior to this start tonight. In his first 4 starts, Daniel Norris faced 5 left-handed batters in all of those games.
Yeah, now he gets 5 in this one. Just a short, wild pitch right there. Martin pounced on that one.
Santana is late on that one and drives it into the seats.
You know, we talked in the opening a little bit about Daniel Norris and why he was successful. He was complaining a little bit about dead arm, but he went out there and proved that he can pitch at 91 or 92 miles an hour. What he did in that game in Tampa Bay is he really changed speeds and he pitched. He had all kind of pitches working for him, the curveball and the changeup. He was turning it over. He was using the changeup to go fade away from right-handers and then mixing in fastballs. That time, 94 miles an hour. He's got enough to get you out.
Yeah, he's got a lot of weapons. And one thing he has done, and this is just his 5th start, as we mentioned, but he has held the hitters to a 2 for 19 with runners in scoring position. Last time against Tampa Bay, over those 7 innings, the Rays were 0 for 5. So he really gets keen focus when he's got a runner in scoring position.
I think it really speaks to the stuff that he possesses.
Bounce to short. Diaz has a good glove and a great arm, and the inning is over already. Daniel Norris has held the Indians 0 for 1 with a runner in scoring position. Encarnacion, Valencia, and Martin when we come back to Cleveland.
The 2015 Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
We are back at Cleveland. Is a few blocks from downtown. That's the Terminal Building in downtown Cleveland. And they've done a nice job of trying to revitalize the core of this city. And Encarnacion goes after the first pitch. Another ground ball. Long throw for Chisenhall in time. 4 ground ball outs to start the game for T.J. House.
When he is on, he is going to get his share of ground ball outs. Again, he likes to turn over that fastball. That two-seamer, that's his best pitch. He's got an average slider. His changeup's very good. But I think the Blue Jays are going to have to make the adjustments here to the left-hander. He's turning that ball over, and the Blue Jays are rolling over.
This is the only guy that has faced House in the past. Danny Valencia last year while playing with Kansas City on the 5th of July had a 3-for-4 game against the Indians and went 2 for 3 with a homer against House. So he knows all about it. Danny's off to a good start this season. .455 average. He has 4 doubles and a couple of RBIs. Boy, you can't get too anxious against House. You have to be patient.
I think you have to slow it down. And we talk about maybe looking in the middle of the field to send that ball back there. He doesn't really have enough fastball to get it by you. But he will carve up that outside part and keep it away from you.
His numbers are a little bit deceptive given the fact that he made his last start on extremely unusual circumstances. Another ground ball. Chisenhall bobbled it, but he's got enough arm to throw out Valencia. 5 ground ball outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell.
Batting 6 for the Blue Jays is number 55, the catcher, Russell Martin.
Garrett Richards, the winning pitcher, he gets that win because of that great effort by Mike Trout. Trout's off to another great season. 2 more hits today. .329 average. Pujols is out of the lineup for a while with a hamstring problem. They're a little bit concerned about that. But the Angels, they're just kind of plugging along like the rest of baseball.
They got Garrett Richards back. That's a good sign for them.
Angels with that win, 11-11. Russell Martin. Russell starting to swing the bat a little bit better of late. House can be a terrific complement to this 5-man pitching staff given his style and the way the other 4 guys are hard throwing right-handers.
Where he's fitting in. Right behind Danny Salazar, who pitched yesterday. And then the 3 hard throwers that we're going to see over the next 3 days. You were talking about House's last start against Detroit. Those were some extreme consequences.
He was scheduled to pitch on Tuesday, and on Saturday it was Trevor Bauer. So his normal throw day was Friday. So he threw 50 pitches in the bullpen, anticipating his start on Tuesday. Trevor Bauer went down to warm up on Saturday, was sick, and T.J. House had to make the emergency start.
A little food poisoning the day after you had thrown 50 pitches, so you knew that wasn't going to go well. And he was facing the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
And there's a fellow named Miguel Cabrera that absolutely kills the Indians pitching.
So he is on his normal 4 days rest tonight, and at least through the first 6 batters, he's looked pretty good.
Pilar shows bunt, and now Roberto Perez is going to go out and talk to his pitcher. Russell Martin took a 4-pitch walk, and now Pilar has the 2-0 count.
That's 6 straight balls out of the strike zone, and that's been one of the problems that T.J. House has had. It's earlier this season, just 3 starts for him, but his walks per 9 inning. And he's the kind of guy who needs to have control. He needs to be able to be locating that fastball in the lower parts of the strike zone. So far this year, the walks per 9 inning they're up.
Well, Cheer, he hasn't had a real regular turn in the rotation, and I think a finesse guy like House will suffer more because of that than a power pitcher. 2-1, 2 outs. Another bouncing ball to short. Aviles will gather himself and throw Pilar out. All outs recorded on the ground by T.J. House.
With the wind chill, that 8 degrees feels more like 5 or 6. I talked to a number of Blue Jays about how they're going to adapt to it. Dalton Pompey says when he's coming up to bat and he knows he's got a few batters ahead of him, he'll put his batting gloves on the heater in the dugout just so they're nice and toasty warm. Others say when they're out in the field, they've got to keep bouncing around, make sure they do not stand still. Jeff Francis told me he pitched in what was the coldest game in Coors Field history. Guys, it was minus 7 degrees Celsius when he took the mound to start a game. The day before it was snowed. He said it was the most miserable day he's ever had.
It can be nasty here. We are certainly close to the lake, and it gets cold off Lake Erie, and this is a tough ballpark, but both teams are in the same conditions.
You know what doesn't work when it's cold like this?
Think about it.
Thinking about it doesn't work.
Thinking
about it makes you cold. Saw Jason Kipnis right before he came up last inning have his bat right up against that heater. The pine tar doesn't work.
Yeah, it gets too cold and slick.
It doesn't work, so the bat feels like it's ready to slip out of your hands easily. None of that works on days like today.
Yeah, it gets too cold and it gets slick. This is Brandon Moss. We mentioned his last 7 games. He's been swinging a hot bat. This is his first year here with Cleveland. Moss has bounced around, started out in Boston, went to Pittsburgh, Oakland, now with Cleveland, coming off of hip surgery.
And brought in here to hit home runs and be a power bat for this team. He's had 4 hits this year against left-handed pitching. One of them has been a home run.
Well, Terry Francona and his bench coach Brad Mills know that Moss brings that winning edge. Something we want to have here. He's an outfielder. You know, we've seen him the last couple of years play first base and DH, but he started out as an outfielder.
Team that doesn't have a lot of home run hitters. Santana and Moss are the 2 that can really power the ball out of the ballpark.
The ball is hit hard, and Danny Valencia right there. That's not an easy play, and Danny shows you how he had to really focus on it. That ball was hit hard, and it was sinking, but he stayed right with it.
You see him shake his head just a little bit. You know what that was? That was good coaching because he didn't have to move.
Had him in the right spot.
Right spot. That ball had some top spin on it.
I tell you what, as an infielder, when you go to the outfield, it seems like that's the biggest piece of property in the whole wide world.
And you're in charge of the whole thing.
All by yourself. This is Ryan Rayburn. Mentioned his numbers against lefty pitching. He's 10 for 27. That's a .370 average. And he has hit 6 doubles against the Southpaws. This Indian ball club has really had trouble offensively. They've averaged just 3.9 runs per game. They've only hit 19 home runs. You made that point. They don't have a lot of pop.
Not a lot of power hitters. They're going to have to rely on moving the ball around the park, use some speed. They've got pretty decent team speed overall. But a little bit different from the Blue Jays. When the Blue Jays need a run, they usually come up with a home run.
As a strike, it's now 3-1 to Ryan Rayburn.
They really miss Yan Gomes.
Oh boy. Defensively and at the plate.
The one right-hander, hit 20 home runs last year for Cleveland Indians. He's got that right field stroke that's perfect for this ballpark. Not even talking about the defensive end of it.
Rayburn continues to wear out the left-handers. That's his 11th hit so far against lefty pitching. A one-out single.
Well, when you get yourself into fastball counts, you're not really known for power. You're going to get a fastball, and that's what Daniel Norris gives him, but it's up. You can see Rayburn's got that head down, takes it right back through the middle. His first hit of the night.
Well, I think one thing the Blue Jays pitchers have to do is they've got to eliminate the walks. They've got to cut down on the number of walks they're allowing, and it's just really created problems for them all throughout the season.
John Gibbons was talking about that before tonight's ball game. The biggest surprise and the biggest problem that he has seen so far in his young staff is the amount of walks.
Yeah, they've walked 81 hitters coming into this game, man. They're just giving too many free passes. Got to give your defenders a chance to make a play and help you out. And the Blue Jays have improved their defense.
Yes, they have. That's not even counting the amount of 3-ball counts that, you know, ended up being a base hit like that last one right there. Daniel had fallen behind 3-0.
When you throw a lot of balls and infielders are standing around, they have a tendency to get back on their heels, and that's when they won't have the best defensive games. 2-1 to Chisenhall. He pops this one up. That's going to be out of play over the Indians dugout. Bonnie Chisenhall batting just .231 early on. But this Indians lineup, we mentioned so many left-handed bats in the lineup, and it's a little bit different look. It should play well for Daniel Norris.
Yeah, and if he's got a good curveball and he's throwing it for strikes, that should play well for him tonight. I thought his changeup was outstanding down in Tampa in his last start. He was cutting the changeup and he was fading it to the right-handers. There's a breaking ball.
He made a comment after that start that something just clicked for him in the second inning. He felt like he was playing catch with Russell Martin, and that's exactly the feel you want, where you're just really not even focused on the hitter, but you pick up your catcher, and that'll give you a tremendous sense of confidence.
The body language in his start, the longer he went into that game and the deeper he went, I mean, he just went out there and looked very confident.
There's another walk. That's the first walk issued by Norris tonight. Norris has a wide assortment of pitches, and the changeup's a very important pitch to him, and he has to be able to get it down where it becomes most effective.
This season, the changeup location, for the most part, 60% of the time, it has been down in the strike zone. When it is up, you can see a quarter of the time it's been high and 17% mid. When it's down like that, that's when you're going to get the ground balls. That's when you're going to get the swings and misses. And he started cutting it just a little more. He's got a natural cutting action on that changeup. Started using that in that game, and then he's also fading it where he turns his hand over, rotates his palm just a little bit, and that ball goes down and away to right-handers.
This is Roberto Perez, the catcher. With Yan Gomes out, he's doing an awful lot of catching. He making his 14th start behind the plate tonight.
He got 3 home runs already in 15 games, so he's got some power. He swings hard.
That might have been the changeup.
Yeah, that was the one that he turns over just a little bit.
Perez got some action. Excuse me, Pat. He got some action last year. Played in 29 games for the Indians. Hit a home run in 85 at bats. And right back with that changeup.
Herm again at 84 miles an hour.
The Blue Jays on this road trip, this is their 7th game on the trip, have turned just 2 double plays. And they came in the same game on Sunday at Tampa Bay. It was something they were really doing a lot early in the season. It's kind of gone away.
Well, you've got the perfect guy up there right now. A guy who likes to look and sit on fastballs. And if Daniel can turn one over, maybe throw a changeup in a good spot, it can get him to roll over, get it on the ground. The infield will take care of everything else.
Mighty cut by Perez. And see where he gets some of that power. Perez is from Puerto Rico, Mayagüez, Puerto Rico, and for some reason Puerto Rico has cornered the market on catchers. There's a great Puerto Rican catcher down at first base coaching for the Indians, and there has been a host of coaches. Sandy Alomar Jr. is the first base coach, and of course he enjoyed an all-star career here with the Indians.
Team leader of those great teams back in the 90s here for the Indians.
Ball gets away from Martin. But the runners will hold. Rayburn at second. He's already, as we mentioned, in scoring position. It's a full count. And there's Sandy Alomar Jr.
Looked like a slider or some kind of cutter, and it really handcuffed Russell Martin.
Yeah, I think it ran more than he expected. That might have been just a fastball that cut on. Full count, 1 out. Threw him a changeup, and that's the second walk of the inning. Bases will be loaded with just 1 out. B. Walker with a very determined look as he comes out of the Blue Jays dugout.
Well, I think, Buck, that's what you're going to get when you've got young pitchers that are they're just not polished enough with the fastball command and the off-speed command. And no question, Aaron Sanchez and Drew Hutchison and this pitcher tonight, Daniel Norris, has outstanding stuff. They just have not been able to keep it in the strike zone consistency. It's funny, in spring training we were talking to Pete Walker. He was saying how excited he was about his pitching staff, that they all throw strikes, and for the most part they did in spring training.
Yeah, but the big lights are on now.
Yeah, a little bit different, and I get that, and I think that's what you're going to get with young pitchers. You're going to get that inconsistencies.
Well, the bottom of the order has been very productive for the Indians. In last night's game, they went 6 for 11 with a home run and scored 6 runs. This is Michael Bourne. He is batting in the 9th spot. And Norris misses with the first pitch. Terry Francona, in an effort to spark the offense, dropped Bourne down into the 9th spot on Sunday. To see if he couldn't change something up, and he put Gipnis in the leadoff spot.
Yeah, it was Bourne and then Kipnis for the longest time, and now they've put him down at the bottom, take a little pressure off. His on-base percentage is not very good, just 265, but he's showing some patience here.
Three and 0. Daniel Norris has given up a 1-out single, then back walked Chisenhall and walked Perez to load the bases. Got to throw a strike now. And he does.
You got to figure that he might be taking 2 strikes right here. If he's confident enough against the left-hander, that he might force Daniel Norris to throw 2 of them over, 2 in a row.
This is popped up on the infield. The infield fly rule is in effect, and boy, Norris got a big break right there. That looked like it might have been upstairs, maybe ball 4.
And that's why I thought he might just take another one. Say, Daniel, I'm going to force you to throw me 2 in a row. As Jeff Francis gets up for the Blue Jays, but Bourne does him a favor by popping up that high fastball.
Francis will need a little extra time as it's cool here in Cleveland, so he is up early. Bases remain loaded. Back to the top of the order, Jason Kipnis. There's a first pitch strike. Well, Daniel Norris, we mentioned the fact he has pitched so well with runners in scoring position. He got out of a jam with a runner at second in the first. Slider missed away. Kipnis 4 for 15 with runners in scoring position. We mentioned he had a 4 RBI game last night in that win over Kansas City. Fouls it back.
He said they had 1 RBI from the leadoff spot before that. Second lowest total. You know the Chicago White Sox haven't had an RBI from their leadoff spot this year?
Played a month's worth of games.
Yeah, a month worth of games, and the leadoff man doesn't have an RBI.
I think spring training needs to be 2 months long. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 down. This is where a youngster has to gear it down a little bit, and I'm talking about Norris in a situation right here. Don't try to muscle your way out of it.
Yeah, that's when you start missing your spots. It looks like he's trying to overthrow that breaking ball to throw a perfect pitch. That's when you want to back off of it just a little bit.
That's popped up, but that's going to reach the seats. Kipnis hit that home run last night. That was his first home run in 67 games going back to last season. And it was the 1-year anniversary of tearing a muscle in his oblique.
Just lost all of his power when he had that side problem, the oblique tear. Had a bad season. Now he is healthy, finally.
That's slapped down the left side, but that's going to slice into the seats.
You know, I don't think Daniel wants to go to 3-2 here to Kipnis with 2 outs, give those runners a head start. So he wants to try and finish him off right here. If you feel confident in your breaking ball, and right now his breaking ball hasn't been the pitch for him yet.
I mentioned it's a tough night to get a good feel on that baseball as well. 2-2. There's that breaking ball well out of the zone.
And now it is 3-2. The runners will get a head start here. When you find a pitcher who's having trouble throwing that breaking ball for strikes, you just eliminate it.
So the bases are loaded. Rayburn's at third, Chisenhall at second, Roberto Perez is at first. No score. We're in the bottom of the second. There go the runners. Ball is driven to left field. Pompey circles back and makes the catch. Kipnis is retired, and the Indians leave the bases loaded. Daniel Norris loaded the bases and pitches his way out of it.
And on Tuesday, May the 5th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays and one TO Come Together t-shirt. It is Connect with the Blue Jays night, presented by Honda. Go to BlueJays.com for more. Buck.
Thank you, Barry. That'll be a big homestand as the Yankees and the Red Sox are in for 6 games. New York 13-9. Of course, they were dealt a tough blow when Masahiro Tanaka was put on the disabled list, and there's no time frame for his return. This is the number 8 hitter, Dalton Pompey. He bunts it and bunts it foul. That's a good idea. Left-handed pitcher, bunted up toward the second baseman and take your chances.
Pitcher falls off towards the third base line. Get it by him, and with his speed, and he's got plenty of speed, he's going to beat that out. I like the idea that he's thinking a lot. He's trying different things to help that batting average.
Ground ball. Second baseman Kipnis. Another ground ball out for T.J. House. One down.
Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
We are in Cleveland. Of course, the Great Lakes, always a big part of the economy around here. Lots of shipping, and that's only a few blocks from this ballpark. This is Jonathan Diaz getting his first start of the season with the Blue Jays. Jonathan played 16 games in AAA with the Buffalo Bisons. Hot shot. Chisenhall. Another good play at third base.
He was in guarding against the bunt, and that ball gets down to you very quickly. Chisenhall's a good fielder. He was a high draft pick. The bat is just now starting to come along. He's always been able to do this. Get down there. Get down in the dirt with balls like that. And when you're a ground ball pitcher, excuse me, Buck, and you get plays like that, you're going to love it.
Well, and with House, you know he's going to put the ball in play. So on the infield, you better be on your toes. He said good defense. Chisenhall has not committed an error. This is his 19th game.
Well, not heavy, but it's coming down now.
Devin Travis tapped out to the pitcher his first time up. What a great month of hitting that Travis has enjoyed. Done a nice job of not chasing a lot of bad pitches. We haven't seen him chase too many pitches.
He's had
pitcher come to him.
Good at bats. And I'll tell you, there's another one right there. He gets on base. His on-base percentage is good. How about all the balls that he has hit hard and the balls that have been hauled in? The play by Mookie Betts yesterday was one of the best we've seen this year.
Mookie Betts took extra bases away from Travis when he caught a ball and fell up against the wall in center field. So Devin's aboard. Second walk issued by T.J. House, and it's a dangerous thing to do with this potent lineup. Donaldson grounded out to third his first time up. Josh was reunited with his former teammate Brandon Moss. The two played together in Oakland. And a chance to catch up prior to batting practice. Bouncing ball to the right side. Kipnis ranges to his left. Everything that House does is put on the ground. The Blue Jays can't get anything in the air early. We'll go to the bottom of the third. It's scoreless in Cleveland. third. Daniel Norris pitched out of a bases-loaded jam to end the second. This is Mike Aviles. Aviles is now 34 years old. He was a Blue Jay for a short period of time. He was traded by Boston to the Blue Jays for David Carpenter and John Farrell, and then was traded shortly thereafter with Jan Gomes to Cleveland for Esmail Rogers.
Never got to wear the uniform
No.
of the Blue Jays.
He's a good player. Began his career with the Kansas City Royals, and he had a terrific season in 2008. Hit .325 for Kansas City in 102 games.
Play all over the diamond. Something that the Blue Jays have really struggled with, finding that guy who can play shortstop, second base, third base, the outfield if you need to. Russell Martin is getting beat up.
This has been a familiar theme for Martin. He got hit on that inside forearm, and that's what you get with young pitchers. You're going to get those 55-foot breaking balls.
That is exactly how John Gibbons was describing it today in his office when they were talking about Russell Martin. He has just been getting beat up. That one looked like it went off the wrist. He was also talking about, as a catcher, you know, you're set up here on the outside corner and they throw it over in the other batter's box. That's tough to catch those pitches. But he's doing a heck of a job.
Yeah, it really is tough. He beat himself up the other night in Boston for a wild pitch that got away from him. But, you know, you say, okay, I want this inside, and they missed by 4 feet. And it's going to happen. It happens with young pitchers, and it's especially a problem when they've got stuff like Russell's dealing with Sanchez and Norris and Castro and Osuna. They all have great stuff.
Yeah. And as soon as they harness it and they can throw it at any time, it's going to look clean and it's going to be good.
Aviles strikes out on a changeup. That's one down here in the third.
2015 Honda CR-V is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
They carry not far from here. It is a blustery night for sure, and there have been hints of drizzle, but nothing significant at this point. Blue Jays are going to try to figure out something with this guy, Michael Brantley. He doubled in his first at bat. He's hit in 9 of his last 13 games since coming off the DL on April 17th. Waits back on that breaking ball. Travis throws on the run. 2 down.
Everybody in Cleveland, we got in here late last night, and then I was talking to some people here and said, so what's up with the Indians? And they're like, Michael Brantley, he's just not hitting at all. So I looked at the stats. He's at .321. What do you want? What do you mean he's not hitting?
Yeah, he's not hitting enough to help us win games. As a team, we mentioned they have a .234 average. Brantley's doing his share. This is Carlos Santana, now the first baseman for the Indians. Cleveland, high expectations for this season, but I think one thing that everybody has overlooked is just how tough this division is. The AL Central, of course, Kansas City. They went to the World Series last year, and they're a good team. Then you have the Detroit Tigers. Terry Francona knows that veteran team is going to be good. Detroit already this season has gone 12-3 against the Central, and that's what you need to do. Obviously, you beat your own division,
beat up your guys. Yeah. Could those be the 2 best teams in the American League? The most what's the word? Finished teams. There's no holes. They've got a little bit of everything.
They're balanced. They have pitching, they have defense. The youngsters are really starting to hit in Kansas City. Detroit, of course, they've got a veteran lineup. 2-2 to Santana.
Santana is a patient hitter. He's got power, and he is a run producer. Terry Francona loves him, but he's a very patient hitter at the plate.
Leads the American League in walks. He'll take his walks. He's got 18 walks so far. Hits that ball through the right side. They were playing him to pull, and he crossed up the D. Santana with a 2-out single.
Well, just so he doesn't get it in the air. That's another pitch that is up. It's not hit that hard. It looked like it might have got in just a little bit, but when you're overshifted like the Blue Jays are, even the softest hits can find the hole.
We're going to see more and more of that from good hitters like Santana. They're going to take advantage of those shifts. This is Brandon Moss. He too is looking at a defensive shift. Moss with a good cut. Brandon Moss, we mentioned he came over here to provide some power for this team. Brandon's now 31 years old. He was kind of a late bloomer. He bounced around a little bit early. He and Josh Donaldson were teammates with the Oakland A's. So that's a good pitch. Good finish on that fastball.
Good finish. Just 91 miles an hour, and it really locked up Brandon Moss. Last inning, Daniel Norris, it took him 38 pitches to navigate through that second inning. Kept the Indians off the scoreboard.
Hot shot. Devin Travis knocks it down, but it goes too far away from him. And then he dropped his head a little bit. That might have hit him right in the collarbone. And I think that one bit him. Moss will end up at first with a base hit, and Travis is trying to overcome the effects of that hot shot.
Remember when they told you when you were in Little League to get in front of the ball and just try and knock it down? Sometimes that's not a good idea. This ball is hit right on the button by Moss, and it got him right in the sternum. He knocks it down, but he pays the price for it. Out on that turf, a wicked hop.
Norris pitching with a runner in scoring position for the third straight inning. Brian Rayburn had a single his first time up. Look out. That ball was ripped off the facade of the second deck. Ball gets away from Martin. The runners are going to move up. Russell Martin, he's had his hands full with his young pitching staff, and it's just a thing that he's going to have to deal with, and they've got great stuff, but the command is an issue.
Spikes that one right off the plate, and he catches it in the chest protector. You see him try to go down and surround that ball so it bounces right in front of him. But it ricochets off that chest protector, enough for the runners to move up.
It's a wild pitch charge to Norris. Two balls and two strikes. Jeff Francis up for a second time tonight. Norris has thrown 77 pitches. 2 outs in the third. Breaking ball. He's going to get out of it again. He'll flip to Encarnacion. Daniel Norris is walking a tightrope. He's pitched every inning with runners in scoring position, and nobody has scored yet.
by the 2015 Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
Things have gotten a little nasty here in Cleveland. It has started to rain, and the forecast suggests 30% now, and it increases throughout the night. Now, hopefully it will hold off for a while. Jose Bautista with a mighty cut.
Blue Jays have to figure out how to get the ball in the air against this guy. All outs recorded on the ground.
Nine outs, all ground ball outs. He's kept the ball down. He's in a pretty good rhythm. He threw 9 pitches in the first, 13 in the second, and 10 in the third. Quite a contrast to what Daniel Norris has had to deal with.
You know, if it rains and the ground gets a little bit wet, maybe a ground ball isn't a bad thing. Tough for those infielders to get the grip on the ball.
Bautista will start things off with a walk.
Fans, Roberto Alomar and Friends Charity Home Run Challenge is coming. It's in support of the Jays Care Foundation. It stops in Toronto May 7th at Rogers Centre and in London June 23rd at Labatt Park. Join Roberto Alomar, Jesse Barfield, Lloyd Moseby, Devon White, and Dwayne Ward. You can take batting practice with some Blue Jay legends. Go to BlueJays.com/Home Run Challenge.
Encarnacion gets the first hit for the Blue Jays. Bautista's headed for third, and he'll get there standing up. That's the first base hit. TJ House has a lot, and Encarnacion's made some subtle adjustments at the plate.
What a heck of an adjustment right there for Edwin. I was talking to him today, and I asked him how the pitchers are pitching you, and he said everything is away and away and away. And I said, have you thought about getting up on the plate? He goes, I have. I've started to move closer to the plate to take away that outside pitch. Well, he takes that outside pitch away by driving the ball to right field.
So it's first and third, nobody out, and Danny Valencia talking to the umpire. Not sure what they're talking about, but Valencia grounded out his first time up, hit a hard ground ball third.
The Indians are going to play their infield back. They will trade a run for a couple of outs here.
This should be a golden opportunity for the Blue Jays to score. House hasn't struck out a batter. The infield is back. Put the bat on the ball, you're going to get a run.
Yeah, you're thinking about base hit right now. Then you're thinking about a deep fly ball. And then the worst thing, or the last thing you want to think about, is a ground ball in the middle of the infield. At least you'll get the run in. But don't change anything. Don't change your sights. Start thinking about, okay, I'm going to look for the ball up to try and hit a fly ball here, because he's not going to give you one. He's going to keep that ball down.
Take that same approach Encarnacion had. Breaking ball. House grew up in Mississippi. He was born in Louisiana, and his favorite athlete as a kid was Tom Glavine. You can certainly see he has patted himself after Glavine, changing speeds, making quality pitches, turning the ball over. There's that base hit to right. Valencia reaches out, pokes it into right, and drives home the first run of the ball game.
There is nothing wrong with that type of approach. That was a good two-strike approach by Valencia, and he uses the whole field. Cuts it down. You saw that they were shifting just a little bit. There's a lot of hits over there. That's a short swing, and he doesn't even have to finish his swing. Look at this. Just get the bat on the ball and get it into the outfield. Good job.
He's done a good job working on that stroke and not trying to do too much. He takes what the pitcher gives him right there and gives the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead. So Bautista got it started with that leadoff walk. Bautista has done a terrific job of getting on base, and he's not in the groove yet with the bat, but he'll take his walks. And that's important for the Blue Jays. For Bautista, that's his 14th walk of the season.
Best way to start a rally, isn't it? That leadoff walk. Blue Jays bring him around, and I got a chance for a big inning.
So Martin takes one on the corner. For Valencia, that's his third ribby of the season. Blue Jays with a 1-0 lead. We're in the fourth. Just off the plate. Ball and a strike.
You can see when he gets into trouble where he goes to, where he wants to get out. He wants that ball down and away.
Changeup missed downstairs. 2 balls and a strike to Russell Martin. Kansas City was in here before the Blue Jays, and they won 2 of 3. The Royals hit .345 in the 3 games against the Indians. Russell goes the other way. This is trouble down the right side. It's up against the wall and fair. Encarnacion is going to score. Valencia is being stopped at third, and now he's hung up. He can get back all right because Kipnis wasn't really aware of it, but Valencia was halfway toward home. There are no outs. You certainly don't want to run into an out at home. Russell Martin with an opposite field double makes it 2-0.
Excellent approach. He has come up with some big hits for the Blue Jays this year. Watch this approach. Down and away, stay right with it, and he keeps it fair down the right field line. That's how the Blue Jays, their last 3 hits have all come to right field. Now the relay from Moss was not a good one. It was a short hop to Kipnis. So he couldn't get the grip on that ball, and he couldn't find that runner who had rounded third too far. Well, the Blue Jays, their approach this inning has been excellent.
Pitching, the hitting coach, Brooke Jacoby, told him, get up on top of that plate and go the other way. Pitching coach Mickey Callaway is out to talk to T.J. House.
Well, it only took him the one time through the order to figure out where this guy, T.J. House, wants to pitch all these right-handed batters of the Blue Jays. They all have all right-handed hitters in the lineup. Second time through, we've got a walk, a ground out, and 4 straight base runners.
Kevin Pillar with runners at second and third. Still nobody out. 2 runs in this inning. Chance for a big inning right here in the fourth. Ryan Webb has just been added to this Indians bullpen. Blue Jays saw Webb with the Orioles last year. The Orioles let him go. He went to the Dodgers. Now he's here with the Indians. Oh, and 2. Gets a piece of it. Blue Jay fans, they're everywhere, even on a cold night in Cleveland.
Got them something to cheer about now in this city. Cleveland's out hitting Blue Jays. Blue Jays have the lead.
Daniel Norris has pitched out of jams in each of the first 3 innings. That's just a purpose pitch up and in. You've got to believe they're going to try to get something away, even though the Blue Jays have gone the other way. Hasn't shown anything outside in this at bat.
Yeah, trying to get him to pull over on that ball.
There's a ball looped to left. That's going to get down. Michael Brantley plays it on a hop. 2 runs are going to score, and Pillar ends up at second. Well, that was a big hit. Slow to develop out in the outfield, but Pillar with 2 strikes serves it into left field and drives home 2.
Boy, what a piece of hitting right there. With runners at second and third, they started coming into the right-hander Pillar, so he wouldn't hit the ball to the right side to get the runner over and in. But then, with 2 strikes, they go back out there, and Pillar's got enough plate coverage just to dump it in front of Michael Brantley. 2 runs are going to score, and on that throw right there, heads up base running by Pillar, he gets into scoring position.
So Pillar drives in 2. It gives him 11 for the season. It's a 4-run inning for the Blue Jays, and they needed that. They've knocked T.J. House out of the game. The lefty is out. Ryan Webb will come into the ball game. Blue Jays 4 runs in the inning, There's still nobody out.
On Rogers NHL Game Center Live for a chance to win the ultimate VIP experience at a Stanley Cup final game and more. Visit sportsnet.ca/Stanley Cup moments for details. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. New pitcher into the game is Ryan Webb. This is his first appearance with the Indians. He was just called up from the minor leagues and been added to their bullpen.
There he is, Ryan Webb. 5 games in AAA. He's a big guy. Throws hard. He's got that heavy sinking fastball, cutter to the lefties. He also likes a changeup to the left-handers. Righties have had problems with him down there in AAA, hitting 056 against him with that good fastball.
Still nobody out. Dalton Pompey. He goes after the first pitch. Pilar did a good job of going on contact. He moves over to third base. Pompey's retired, 1-3. First out of the inning.
Boy, you are a runner at second base. You want to make sure that that ball gets by the pitcher. But the way that Pilar read that, he read that it was tapped out in front of home plate, and there was not going to be a chance to get him over at third base. So he moves up 90 feet.
4 runs in the inning. Infield is in. The squeeze is on. Here comes Pilar. He's going to score. Jonathan Diaz on the first pitch drops down a beautiful sacrifice bunt. Suicide squeeze was on, and Diaz delivered.
You saw that. It was just screaming for the squeeze. You got a big right-hander who throws a lot of fastballs with some sink on it. Number 9 hitter, runner at third base. Let's run the squeeze. And all that is, as soon as that pitcher raises up that arm, the runner takes off at third, and Jonathan Diaz gets on top of that ball and gets it down.
And Webb did what you're supposed to do as a pitcher when you see that batter square around in that situation. Throw it up and in. Hopefully he'll pop it up. That wasn't the case for Diaz. Picks up the RBI. It's a 5-run inning. Evan Travis, big bouncer to third. That'll do it. But the Blue Jays and Jose Bautista with a lead-off walk started it all. Kevin Pilar, a 2-run single to left. Russell Martin chugging home. Big inning for the Blue Jays.
Your favorite MLB team's games to your calendar and never miss a game. Subscribe today at sportsnet.ca/set reminder by tweeting /schedule to @Sportsnet. Guys, the new Sportsnet app is absolutely fantastic.
Lots of information. You can keep track of your favorite MLB team on that Sportsnet app, so make sure you check it out. Jonathan Diaz with a squeeze sacrifice bunt picks up his first RBI of the season. That's his 5th big league RBI. Kevin Pillar drove in 2. Pillar with perfect timing from third base when he broke for home. New pitcher into the ball game is Jeff Francis.
Very interesting. After the Blue Jays score 5 runs in the top of the 4th inning, Daniel Norris's night is done. Jeff Francis is into the game. Jeff pitched in last night's game. He had a 1-2-3 ninth inning with a couple of strikeouts against the Boston Red Sox. So this will be interesting how they piece this one get together the rest of the way.
Now, Francis, as you mentioned, is pitched last night, and he has thrown strikes. I think that's the one thing that John Gibbons was concerned about with Norris. Norris walked a couple. He had runners on in each inning, pitched out of several jams, but threw 78 pitches in 3 innings. That ball is hit hard. Valencia on the run, gets there and makes the catch. Chisenhall's read time.
You know, I have a feeling, Buck, tonight with all these left-handed batters in the lineup for the Cleveland Indians, we're going to see all the lefties out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays.
It's a good matchup, and Francis has gone 3 1/3 for the Blue Jays so far. That happened at Tampa Bay. He had 6 strikeouts in that game.
Third time that he has pitched on this road trip.
This is the catcher, Roberto Perez. Perez filling in for the injured Yan Gomes, who strained a knee on a slide play at the plate. His former teammate Rajay Davis slid into home, and spikes caught the right foot of Yan Gomes, and he sprained his knee. He was out throwing today and looked like he was moving around a little bit, so that's encouraging.
You know, it looked innocent when it happened, like it wasn't a major collision at the plate where a catcher can get bent backwards. And you can tell right away that there's some major damage in that knee. Just something, freak accident at home plate.
Full count. Francis strikes out Perez, retires the first 2 he faces here in the 4th inning. 2 down.
Now stepping in for the Rockies, center fielder.
The DIY Expert Sale, only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
This is the number 9 hitter, Michael Bourne. And they have dropped Bourne down into the order just to try to get him going a little bit. Tough pitch. Francis got the call. Jeff Francis is a veteran. He's going to work quickly, and Michael Bourne's in man. He doesn't need any help. That ball might have been low, but Bourne is in the hole 0-2, and here comes Jeff Francis.
Not a bad idea. Go a little bit further outside. Let's just test the umpire tonight, John Hirschbeck. How far will he go?
Bourne strikes out. Good inning for Jeff Francis. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts. We're moved to the 5th. The Blue Jays have a 5-0 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn.
Sunday, May 10th, the Blue Jays and the Red Sox at 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Josh Donaldson white replica jersey. Go to BlueJays.com for tickets. And guys, it's time for our Twitter question of the night, and it comes from @Matt Scoble, who wants to know how much of a challenge is it to stretch a reliever into a starter and vice versa to move a starter back into the bullpen?
Barry, I think that's a very, very interesting question, and there's a lot of differing opinions on it, but we have seen that recently, especially in the American League. Jabba Chamberlain comes to mind. Daniel Bard comes to mind. Ryan Madsen, guy went back and forth as a starter and reliever. I don't think it's been very successful.
Neftali Feliz, Alexi Ogando. What's the bottom line in all of those guys that we just named?
Injuries.
They all got hurt.
Yep. It's very difficult to take a pitcher, no matter whether you're taking him from a reliever to a starter or starter to a reliever. I think gradually you can do it, but I wouldn't go back and forth, and certainly wouldn't do it on a regular basis. This is Josh Donaldson facing Ryan Webb.
The difference, I think, from starter to reliever, it's much easier. And there, over history, there's been guys like a John Smoltz who've been special as a starter and went to a reliever.
Hot shot. Kipnis was up the middle.
You know, Dennis Eckersley also comes to mind, who was a starter for a long time in his career, but then went to relieving. So I think from starter to reliever, it's a little bit easier. But if you have thoughts then of going back to becoming a starter, I've seen too many injuries.
I think one thing that we have seen successfully implemented was bringing up a young pitcher, let him work a year out of the bullpen, and then the following year, if you feel like he's got the stuff, the pitches, the confidence, and the arm strength, then make him a starter. But don't go back and forth. Jimmy Key started 1984 working out of the Blue Jays bullpen and had 10 saves. Pat Henkin came up in the heyday when the Blue Jays were loaded with pitching. He pitched out of the bullpen and then became a starter and won a Cy Young Award. Bautista drills it to center. Bourne on the run. He's not going to get this one. It slams up against the wall, and Bautista will jog into second base with a double. Just his second double of the season. Jose started the rally in the fourth with a leadoff walk and came around to score the first Blue Jays run.
You've got a sinker ball pitcher. Whenever they elevate it, like Ryan Webb just did right there to Bautista, he's going to hit it. That ball is hit on a line over Michael Bourne, a very fast center fielder. That's a good sign right there when you see Jose starting to drive the ball into the gaps.
Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin had a base hit to right field his last time up.
They still play him in that exaggerated shift. Edwin's got the whole right side of the infield if he wants it.
Encarnacion has seen plenty of Webb in the past. We mentioned Ryan Webb pitched for the Orioles last season. Edwin is just 1 for 8 against the big right-hander. Down and away.
Indians needed some depth out in their bullpen. Their bullpen has really been hit hard early parts of this season. So they've had to go down and get Ryan Webb after 5 games in the minor leagues.
The Indians have more appearances out of their bullpen over the last 2 seasons than anybody in baseball. They've just worked an awful lot. Maybe it's caught up with them. Got underneath that pitch and swung right through it. 2 balls and 2 strikes for Encarnacion, the first baseman. Another base hit to right. Bautista's headed toward third. They're giving him the go-ahead. Here's the throw to the plate, and Bautista will be tagged out. Brandon Moss, with his third outfield assist, throws a strike to home to nail Bautista. Encarnacion with his second hit of the night. Remember, it's been raining here, and Moss does a good job of making a strong throw.
I think they were gambling that this throw was going to be offline, but it's a perfect throw from Brandon Moss. One hop right to the catcher. He can catch it about belt high, and then it's easy after that. He just applies the tag to Bautista. Gambling that time with Jose did not pay off. Blue Jays have a runner lost at the plate.
Danny Valencia. Danny had an RBI base hit to right. He drove in the first run of the game, part of that 5-run fourth inning. Off the plate inside.
Lovely approach, though, by Encarnacion. He's got the whole right side. All you have to do is just serve one over there. Get that batting average up a little bit. Start putting some numbers on the board.
Breaking ball down and away. Sometimes third base coaches will try to force an RBI for a guy. Edwin's the big RBI guy. Luis Rivera says, you know what? We got a right-handed bat behind Encarnacion. Edwin's off to a bit of a slow start. Let's see if we can't get him an RBI here.
And he was just gambling that throw was going to be offline. You mentioned that Moss has played some of the outfield. He's played a lot of infield also. He's gambling that he was going to throw that ball and Bautista was going to score, but it was a perfect throw.
Right in on the hands of Valencia. Brandon Moss, we mentioned that was his third outfield assist. He threw a strike, one hop right to the catcher Perez. Valencia hits it into center field. Bourne to his right will make the catch. The inning is over. A couple of hits in the inning, but the Blue Jays strand a base runner. Will go to the bottom of the fifth. Blue Jays have a 5-0 lead. Suggested they might be the best team in the American League. They had the reigning Cy Young Award winner. They have some good bats, but they're off to a slow start coming in this game. Just 7-13. The curse of the Sports Illustrated cover exists, and it existed back in 1987. Indian Uprising. They expected the Indians to be a good ball club. Of course, that's Joe Carter and Corey Snyder on the cover. Pat, you were part of that team, and you were certainly a big part of the Indians' history. That year was disappointing. He went 61-102, and Pat Corrales got fired in the middle of the season.
You know what that was all about, Buck? I think back then there were 7 teams. Yeah, that was part of the out there in center field. There were 7 teams in the American League East. In the 6 previous seasons, 6 different teams won the American League East. So a lot of people thought, okay, well, then it's time for the Indians to go ahead and win the division. We had a lot of young players, a lot of good young players, didn't have a whole lot of pitching. So the prognosticators said, well, the Indians, it must be their time to win. It wasn't even close.
Brooks Jacoby was on that team as well. He was the third baseman. He was 27 years old. Corey Snyder was just 24. Joe Carter was 27. He was playing first base at that time. Carter and Jacoby both hit 32 home runs that year. And you had a pretty good year. You hit 307 with 86 ribbies.
There were a lot of 300 hitters on that team. A lot of offense. We played a lot of 10-9 games, 11-8 games. We had some young pitchers. Just couldn't put it all together.
Jacoby hit 300 right on the nose. Julio Franco hit 319. But you look at the pitching staff, a little bit different story. There was a couple of old guys on your team that pitched, huh? This ball is a gapper. That ball is going to go all the way to the wall. Michael Vilas is turning second. He'll stop there. The Indians are down by 5. Michael Vilas with a 1-out double.
Those Hall of Famers you were talking about, Phil Niekro, Steve Carlton.
Niekro was 48. Steve Carlton was 42. Candiani was also on that team.
Yeah, I think John Farrell might have been on that team. A lot of young players. That ball is driven into the gap by Michael Vilas. Told you, when he gets a hold of it, he can hit it hard. That time in the gaps for extra bases. Second time that they have hit a double tonight, the Indians. It's a good team, the Indians. They're in a very tough division. You mentioned Kansas City and Detroit. I think Chicago is better this season. I think Minnesota's done a lot to improve their club. I don't know if it's enough to win the division, but this is a tough division.
The Chicago White Sox are 2 games under 500 at 8-10. Minnesota is 3 under 9-12, and then Cleveland bringing up the rear 7-13. Michael Brantley, sure, just get another hit. Brantley hits the Blue Jays like he knows what's coming. That's his second hit of the night, and he chases home Michael Vilas. That's the first run for the Indians.
He never stops hitting. He's got that beautiful inside-out swing against left-handers. He can stay right on it and shoot the ball the other way. His double, his first time up, came to left center field off of a left-hander. This time, off of the left-hander Jeff Francis. See that inside-out swing? Use it in the whole field. Softly in the left field for an RBI single.
He is 37 for 99 in his career against the Blue Jays. Got 37 hits. This is his 25th career game against the Jays. Carlos Santana singled his last time up. That came against Daniel Norris, the starter. Jeff Francis in his second inning of relief. Francis had a 1-2-3 bottom of the 4th with a couple of strikeouts. Blue Jays once again get a short start. Norris lasting just 3 innings. He was 78 pitches in 3 innings, and John Gibbons went to the bullpen, so he's going to ask the bullpen to give him 6 innings.
They have been averaging just a shade over 3, which is it's tough to do. 9 in and 9 out.
And it's been fairly consistent. Just haven't had many long outings. R.A. Dickey gave him a good outing last night in Boston. He went 7 innings and basically made 1 bad pitch. He talked about the 0-2 pitch to Hanley Ramirez.
And
Ramirez hit the home run.
And that helped. That helped with him going 7 innings last night when the Blue Jays only had to use one other pitcher. And that was Jeff Francis. So they're fully stocked down in that bullpen tonight.
Wow, that just broke around the corner. Full count, 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 5th. It's 5-1 Blue Jays. The hits are now even at 6 apiece. Breaking ball. Devin Travis, the second baseman, will go to second for 1. Back to first, not in time. They get the lead runner in second. Now they're 2 down.
The 2015 Honda CR-V is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
It is a cool night in Cleveland, and rain showers, at least for the moment, have subsided. Carlos Santana bounced into a fielder's choice. He's at first base with 1 out. Michael Brantley was erased 4-6 on the force out. Brandon Moss with a big cut. Moss lined out to the right fielder. He had a bullet right at Danny Valencia, and then he hit a 1-hop skipper off the chest of Devin Travis at second for a base hit. That was into third.
He's looked very comfortable, hasn't he, against the lefties?
That's foul outside of first.
Stays on that breaking ball. That's what you want to do. You want to throw that slow breaking ball so you get him out in front, and you're basically pitching into your defense. You've got 3 defenders on the right side of the infield. You want that slow stuff. So you speed up his bat and get him to hit grounders to the right side.
This ball is drilled to center field. Pilar at the wall, gets there and hangs on. Oh, another spectacular catch, and Kevin Pilar never broke stride. He caught that and slammed into the wall in center field. Another terrific defensive play by Kevin Pilar. It doesn't make any difference. In left, in center, he catches everything. That ball was going to be off the wall in right center, and Kevin Pilar never broke stride. Full stride, catches it and slams into the wall all in one motion. Takes a hit away from Brandon Moss and saves a run for the Blue Jays.
Cup playoffs, and Toronto Blue Jays. Shop TSC.ca. This would be a good night to be sitting in front of the computer and shopping from home, Buck.
A little cool down there, Barry?
A little bit.
Yeah. A little bit rainy, a little bit cool. Russell Martin will lead things off for the Blue Jays. Russell's been on base twice tonight. He has walked, had an RBI double, and scored a run.
Coming up for some big hits for the Blue Jays lately. He's also been doing a great job behind the plate.
It's only appropriate during the Stanley Cup playoffs that Russell Martin's playing like a goalie back there, and he's had to. These young pitchers have given him a lot of tough blocks, and he's handled most of them flawlessly.
You know what else he has done behind the plate? He has thrown out some pretty good base runners already this year. We saw him throw out Jacoby Ellsbury, Desmond Jennings, and Mookie Betts the other day. For the first time this season, Betts gets thrown out.
Betts was 5 for 5, and Russell Martin threw it right on top of the base at second to throw out Betts. Off the end of the bat, little soft liner to short. 1 down. Well, let's go back to Kevin Pillar in center field, and we have seen this a lot already this year.
This was going to be a run right here for the Indians, but Kevin Pillar, that determination in the outfield, no fear, no regard for his body, his eyes on that ball. He finishes it, and you can see right at the last second he braces himself, knowing that he's going to be running into that padding. Probably wishes that he got into that fence area. There's a little give to that fence out there. A little bit softer. That padding out in right field is really hard.
Yeah, you can see that's the Indians bullpen. It's a chain link fence there, and that would have been much more of a cushioned blow than that wall. This is a looper down the right field line. That ball is going to drop on foul ground and bounce out of play.
We saw him make a catch in Baltimore with no regard to his body, where he just went right into the wall and took a ball away. Chris Davis, I believe, hit it to left center field that time. That one saved a run right there for the Blue Jays.
Well, it sure did, and no telling where that ball ends up if Pillar doesn't catch that ball that Moss hit there. That collision in right field reminded me of Aaron Rowan slamming into the fence in Philadelphia, and he went face first into the fence. Very similar catch. Same part of the ballpark in Philadelphia, and Rowan is a good comparison in my mind to Kevin Pillar.
Yeah. Guys who play the game the right way, they play hard, come to play every day. You said it earlier this year, he's a baseball player. Knows how to play the game.
Ground ball. Chisenhall has been busy at third. Long throw in time. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell.
For the Blue Jays, the hitter, center fielder, Dalton Pompey.
Mike Leake can hit.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Leake can hit and he can pitch. He is just one of those guys that has a knack for helping himself. And when you can handle a bat in the National League, you're going to keep yourself in the ballgame. When your spot comes up and the manager's thinking about bunting or needing to move a runner, Mike Leake can stay in the game.
Stay in the game and help yourself.
Dalton Pompey has grounded out twice. He was the first batter Webb faced when he entered the game. This is a tapper to first. Santana will step on the bag. Blue Jays go down in order in their half of the 6th. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. The Blue Jays have a 4-run lead here in Cleveland.
Rogers Center for some great action against American League East opponents. Beginning Monday, May 4th, it's the Yankees in town, followed by the Red Sox May 8th through 10th. Later in the month, the Angels, Mariners, and White Sox all visit as well. Go to BlueJays.com for more. And guys, I spoke to somebody with the Rogers Center, and there's a good chance we'll see that roof open sometime during the next homestand, assuming it's a little warmer than it is here today in Cleveland.
Well, we're all hoping that it'll happen real soon. I don't think there's anything like an open-air ball game at Rogers Center early in the spring. Brian Rayburn, 1 for 2 so far. This is his first look at Jeff Francis tonight.
Boy, it would do wonders for the Blue Jays if Jeff can go one more inning here. Because of the short outing for Norris, 3 innings. If they can get 3 innings from Jeff Francis, and with a relatively rested bullpen, then they only have to cover 3 more. You got the bottom of the lineup of the Indians, so it's a good chance Francis can get through this.
Yeah, as you see, there's action in both bullpens. Brian Shaw for the Indians and Osuna for the Blue Jays. Brian Rayburn, his second hit of the night, second hit off a lefty. He's now 12 for 30 against lefty pitching this season.
It's nice when you get ahead like that and a lefty's going to come right at you. You don't have to worry about the breaking ball. Sit on that fastball.
This is the third baseman, Lonnie Chisenhall. He has walked and lined out. Waves at that breaking ball. They've waited a while for Chisenhall to become the everyday player they anticipated. He's always had the glove, and it's just a matter of getting that bat to match his defensive skills.
And he shows signs at times. Lefties have given him problems.
Terry Francona, we mentioned he's in his 3rd season with the Indians. It's his 15th season managing. And Chisenhall strikes out, foul tip, but Martin held on for the strikeout. So Roberto Perez will come to the plate with a man on and 1 out. John Gibbons has come out of the Blue Jays dugout. Perez is a right-handed hitter. Francis has pitched 2 1/3. And John Gibbons is saying, you know what? You did your job. Let me go to that bullpen. We'll get young Roberto Osuna in here and see if he can't handle the bottom part of this lineup and get us out of this inning. So Francis with a good effort. He had 3 strikeouts in 2 1/3. Roberto Osuna will come out of the Blue Jays bullpen. He'll face Roberto Perez when we come back to Cleveland. The Blue Jays are up by 4.
tomorrow night on CBC and Rogers Game Center Live. It's the Lightning into Montreal to take on the Canadiens, who had a great series against the Senators. Game starts at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. Make sure you check that out. Great second-round action right here on Sportsnet. Roberto Osuna. This will be his 10th appearance, and he's done a terrific job.
Yeah, he certainly has. And John Gibbons was talking about the two 20-year-olds who are going to give him in, quote, lower leverage situations, 6th, 7th innings. The plan is Osuna the 6th, Castro the 7th, and that's right where we are.
This says Roberto Perez, who has walked and struck out. Roberto Osuna has a strikeout in 8 of his 9 previous appearances. We're seeing a little more depth on his breaking ball last couple of times out, and that's a good sign.
Yes, I think his two best pitches are his fastball. He's got an excellent fastball for 90s, and he's got a good changeup. We haven't seen the good slider until his last couple of outings.
Well, that's how you come out of the bullpen and throw strikes. He has a 3-pitch strikeout of Roberto Perez, and now he has strikeouts in 9 of his 10 appearances.
Make quick work. When you get to 2 strikes, that fastball on the outside corner is a great pitch. And when you throw as hard as Osuna, why not? Try and paint it, and he gets the call.
Especially when the Indians don't know anything about you. As few pitches as possible. Throw strikes. First pitch changeup to Michael Bourne. Bourne dropped into that 9th spot in the lineup on Sunday for the first time in his career. And he'd gotten off to a slow start with the bat, hitting under 200.
There it is again. You could see where Russell Martin was set up, where he wanted that pitch, and then has to fight all the way back to the other side of the plate just to keep that ball in his glove. That is tough business right there.
Another one. That one goes off of his glove, and you could see how badly Osuna missed. And we've talked about it with Martin, and you know, he'll set up and wants to be very definitive with his target, trying to give the pitcher the best target possible.
And the last 2 pitchers are a prime example of that. He's set up on the outside corner. This one's way inside, and he fights to go get it. Set up on the outside corner again. Same pitch. He yanks it to the inside part of the plate. And when you're sitting there and you're expecting a ball, especially a fastball like those last 2 pitches were, and they throw it somewhere different, it's tough.
Bouncing ball, third base side of the mound. Donaldson, what a play. Michael Bourne can run. Donaldson grabbed it with a bare hand and threw to first to end the inning. Defense has been keen again tonight. First, Kevin Pillar in center. This time it's Josh Donaldson, another red star in the book for the Blue Jays. The 2015 Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
Let's do something a little bit different here tonight. This might be the shortest drive of the season. It's a squeeze play at the plate, and Jonathan Diaz does a heck of a job of getting that bat at the top part of that strike zone, getting that ball down. He gets himself an RBI on that play right there. And the drive of the game is a Jonathan Diaz squeeze.
It capped off the 5-run fourth inning, and Pilar was at third base, and Kevin did a good job of biding his time until he broke, and Jonathan Diaz dropped down the bunt. New pitcher is Brian Shaw. Good effort for Ryan Webb. He goes 3 innings and allows just 2 hits.
He will give way to Brian Shaw. This is his 11th game already. This is nothing new for him. He led the American League in appearances.
Terry Francona was asked about his bullpen, and they're off to a slow start. And he said, well, if it is overuse, put it on me. I'm the guy that uses these guys, and I think everybody is safe and healthy, but boy, we've pitched a lot. And if they are tired because of the last 2 seasons, that's on me. They have led baseball over the last 2 seasons in appearances out of the bullpen.
And Brian Shaw, a career high and a club record, 80 games he pitched in last season. That's half. Every other night he is getting up, getting ready, and getting into a ball game.
They had 4 relievers with 70 or more appearances last year. That's the first time that's happened in baseball.
Amazing. They go to it. It's been a very effective bullpen over the last couple of years. This year, though, just walking too many people and just a little bit too inconsistent.
That's why fatigue has been raised as a possibility. This is the leadoff man, Devin Travis. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Certainly Travis has created a lot of attention for himself, getting off to a good start, and you can bet other teams are starting to look at the video, try to come up with a game plan. Devin Travis is hurting. He got hit by a hot shot off the bat of Brandon Moss, and watch his reaction after this swing.
It's a little cutter away. He just gets a piece of it. Watch him grimace and grab that shoulder. The front of that shoulder on that swing, which is never a good thing.
Brandon Moss hit one that skipped right in front of Travis and hit him on that left shoulder. And
there's
he's
another
hurt.
one.
Yep. He got hit hard.
Right off the end of the bat, and look at the follow through and the finish. You can see there's something definitely wrong with him. The shoulder, the front of the shoulder. I mean, look at him. He's more determined now.
That ball down and away. He strikes out. He'll be tagged out, but they're going to have to look at him. The only time he missed any time was when he got hit by Shelby Miller in the Braves game. He got hit in the side. He had to leave after 1 at bat, and then he missed the next game. But you can see he's headed right down in the tunnel, and he's going to try to get some help. That ball come up and hit him on the chest. George Poulos is the head trainer, and he's going to check with Devin to make sure that he can't risk any further injury.
Yeah, he's been taken out at second base a couple of times on some hard slides. You mentioned that pitch that hit him in the ribs, and then the ball tonight
right up around his collarbone. That's where he's indicating, and George Poulos making sure that there's nothing wrong in there. And obviously you take a hot shot like that, you're going to feel it for a while.
You can see that 3 swings, 3 sliders down and away. The Indians picked up on it the first swing where he grimaced a little bit and grabbed that shoulder. They went right back there.
This is Josh Donaldson. He's grounded out 3 times tonight. Started his swing, tried to stop, and went around. 1 and 2. Top of the 7th inning, Blue Jays scored all their runs in the 5-run fourth.
Well, this is the play, Buck, that you were talking about right here. Brandon Moss sends a topping hard liner that hits him right in that chest area, and you can see he's in some pain right there, right around that shoulder, and he's feeling it.
Donaldson grounds it to short. Ball is bounced in the dirt. Donaldson's retired. Brian Shaw retires the side in order. Devin Travis grabs his glove. He's headed back to second. Hockey right now with the Stanley Cup playoffs in full speed. Devin Travis back at second base, and probably a little beat up, a little sore right now, but obviously they wouldn't let him go out there if he was risking any further damage, so he's just going to have to tough it out a little bit.
Yeah, and if you're Devin, you're not giving in right here. You got your chance to play in the big leagues. You're not going to give it up that easy.
Roberto Osuna came into the ball game and got out of the sixth inning. Came in with one out and nobody on. Check that, he came in with one out and a man on, got a strikeout and a ground out. Another good play by Josh Donaldson on a little tapper to the third base side of the mound. This is the leadoff man, Jason Kipnis. Hang with him, Russell.
Boy, he's had a rough night. Such a rough night.
Well, he's a good catcher, and he's had a lot of these 59-foot fastballs.
You know what? I think it's going to get better for him and easier for him as the season goes along.
This is a changeup that's popped up to left field. Pompey comes in. Kipnis is retired, one down.
When you spend $200 or more at J Shop at Eaton Center Level 1, you'll receive a free Dooney & Burke cosmetic bag, available while supplies last. Buck?
Brand new Jay's Shop at Eaton Center. Make sure you stop by and have a look at all the great Blue Jays merchandise. Michael Venus scored the Indians' run in the fifth. Venus had a one-out double to the gap in right center and scored on Michael Brantley's RBI single. That's good fastball. Put it in a good spot too. Venus may have hurt himself. He was kind of acting as if he felt something on his left side.
You are seeing that a lot.
Yeah, I don't get that. And it's all the oblique muscle. We talked about Kipnis last year. Hard swings.
Hard swings, so they're going to go right back up there.
Yeah,
he's grimacing too.
He's hurting too. It's frustrating. Aviles is kind of a role player, and he gets a chance to play, and had a double last time.
Stay up there. Keep pounding it. It becomes like a hot zone, doesn't it, on your side there? You do so much work with your core and to try and maintain some strength and some flexibility there, but you're seeing so many of those. Here's another one. So many of those oblique and side injuries.
And they're significant. Obviously, Reyes is on the disabled list. He has a cracked rib that he suffered on a check swing. He tried to play through it, but that didn't work. Lined right to the second baseman. Travis was standing in his tracks. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell.
Stepping in for the try, number 23, Michael Bradley.
Alfredo Simon, the starter for the Tigers, has been touched up for 3 earned runs on 4 hits. Danny Duffy is on the mound for Kansas City, 3 2/3, just 2 hits, walked a couple and struck out a pair. Kansas City's not going to pitch to Miguel Cabrera. He's walked twice already in that game.
Did you blame him?
No. Mike Moustakas, what a year he's having. He's 2 for 2 again tonight. In the series against the Indians, he was 8 for 14.
How many of those balls were hit the other way?
Yeah, he has made a dramatic change. The left-handed hitter is hitting everything to left field, staying on it. Pat, you mentioned the left-hander's probably going to get a lot of work tonight. There's Aaron Loup. Jeff Francis worked 2 1/3 already. Loop's loosening up. Michael Brantley is 2 for 3. He has doubled and had an RBI single. He's driven in the only Indians run in this game. It's a cool night here in Cleveland. Fans that are here all bundled up. Start of the game, it was 8 degrees. Again, Michael Brantley hammers the pitch down into the right field corner. That's his second double of the night.
You know, 3rd hit. Why don't they just put him on first base? Just start the at bat. Don't even pitch to him. Just say go around to first base because you're going to end up there. This guy is such a good hitter. We've seen him hit a couple of balls to left field the other way on pitches that were away. This time they tried to come in, and Brantley pulls this one into the corner. That's extra bases once again.
We've seen another good-looking left-handed hitter here with the Indians in the past, and Brantley reminds me of him. That was David Justice. Same type of swing. This is Carlos Santana, the cleanup hitter. There are 2 outs.
Switch hitter. And Santana this year, his batting average is lower against right-handed pitching than left-handed pitching. Just 205 versus the right-handers.
Russell has had a lot of those balls in the dirt once again tonight, and he handles this one perfectly.
Nimble. And out there, you have no idea where that ball is going to be bouncing. Takes a good athlete and good hands to get that. He's got that low center of gravity behind the plate, or he can just drop down and make the play.
Throw to second base, and the tag by Diaz. Brantley had drifted off with 2 outs here. And Russell Martin said, you know what, if I can get out of the inning without throwing another pitch, I'll do it.
I'll take my chances right here. He's had a pickoff already this year. Ball bounced just a little bit, but that's a heads-up play. Just keep him a little bit closer to that bag.
Osuna's got plenty of fastball. There's no question about that. And when he gets command of his pitches and irons out his command issues, he's going to be tough.
He threw that ball right by him. And if I'm Roberto Osuna, I'm coming right back with the same pitch.
He did. Santana's a terrific hitter, and all I could do was foul it into the seats. When Osuna made his debut against the Yankees in New York on the 8th of April, he became the youngest pitcher in club history. He was 20 years old in 60 days.
He doesn't act like it out there, does he?
You know, even when we see him away from the ballpark, he is a very mature young man and always pleasant to talk to. Has a lot to say about baseball. He's been around. Signed as a 16-year-old. Full count, 2 outs. We are in the bottom of the 7th inning. The teams have scored in just 2 half innings. Blue Jays scored 5 runs in the 4th, and the Indians scored their run in the bottom of the 5th. Nothing but zeros for the rest of the night. .95 does the trick. Santana strikes out. The 2-out double doesn't hurt. We'll go to the 8th. Jose Bautista has been on base twice. He walked, and then in the 5th he hit this double over the center field head in center. Jose Bautista, then Encarnacion and Valencia. Blue Jays up by 4.
Listen to live audio, follow games pitch by pitch, and enjoy in-game video highlights. The app is available on the iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Android, and season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. And guys, it also happens to work in the rain, as it has been all night long.
Just a reminder for us, huh, Barry? It's raining a little bit here, and it's been a cool night, but Blue Jays bats have delivered 5 runs. Roberto Osuna goes an inning and 2/3. That might be it for him. He's thrown 30 pitches in his outing.
Certainly makes sense. Blue Jays trying to make that 1 inning stand up. They've only scored in 1 inning tonight.
All their runs came in the 4th, and it looked like they were in for a long night the way T.J. House has started out. First 9 outs that House recorded were all ground ball outs. The Blue Jays couldn't get anything in the air. Bautista started it with a leadoff walk in the 4th, and that started the merry-go-round. Blue Jays scored 5 runs on 4 hits.
Blue Jays' approach against House changed that inning. Started hitting the ball the other way. They had 4 straight hits, and they were all to right field.
That'll make Brooke Jacoby happy.
Very happy.
Bautista is called out on strikes, and John Hirschbeck, the veteran umpire, you can see Jose felt it was off the plate, and he might be right.
Hirschbeck's one of the best umpires in baseball. Very consistent. Shaw cannot throw a ball straight. It's got a little cut to it with some late movement. It's the outside corner for the first out.
Encarnacion has a couple of hits tonight. 2 hits to right field. He's 2 for 3. He spoke about Edwin making some adjustments, getting a little bit closer to the plate. That'll play with a right-handed pitcher on the mound now.
Yeah, he's looking for his pitch, he still says. Might have broke his bat on that one. But get closer to the plate so you can reach those outside pitches, and it's worked for Edwin.
Nick Haggett in the Indians bullpen, and Aaron Luke, he's going to come into the game. He was up earlier throwing, so right now he's just staying loose.
It's a cold night. Got to stay loose, and you got to stay warm.
Encarnacion called out, same pitch that Bautista struck out on. That slider down and away.
Great movement. Told you all the time that he played last year, 80 games last year for Brian Shaw, and he was good. 24 holds last year, which was tied for 5th most in the American League. An excellent setup man last year.
Danny Valencia had an RBI single. Back in the 4th. Valencia playing in right field tonight. He's handled everything hit his way. Breaking ball inside is pulled foul. Blue Jays entered this game 1-5 on the road trip. They've only had 1 inning of offense, as Pat mentioned. He strung together 4 straight hits and capped it off with a squeeze bunt by Jonathan Diaz. 5 runs in the 4th. Valencia strikes out. Shaw strikes out the side in the 8th. He has 4 strikeouts tonight. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. Prediction of who they thought the Blue Jays player of the game would be. The video game picked Daniel Norris.
And they really had Daniel Norris throwing a gem. 9 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Didn't turn out that way. Man was only able to get 3 innings. Fighting his control tonight. He gave up 4 hits, 2 walks, but he did not give up any runs. He was in trouble in his 3 innings of work, and he stranded 6 base runners. So Daniel Norris is finished off for tonight.
The simulation is powered by MLB 15 The Show. Baseball is better. Only on PlayStation. New pitcher for the Blue Jays into the game. Brandon Moss, a lefty batter, is scheduled to lead things off here in the bottom of the 8th. So it's Aaron Loop's turn.
This is the 4th pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays, 3rd left-hander. We told you all the left-handed batters that the Cleveland Indians have. Loopy is into the game now for the 11th time this season. 1-1 with a .540 earned run average. He's going to be pitching later in ball games, according to John Gibbons. The 8th inning might be his now.
Brandon Moss has had a good night at plate. He's only 1 for 3, but he's hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. That one's not so hard. Loopy got that in on his hands.
Boy, when he starts that fastball in like that and gets those left-handers swinging at that pitch, he can sweep a breaking ball at him now.
Brandon Moss was robbed of an extra base hit in the 5th. Kevin Pillar made another highlight reel catch in center. Pillar slammed up against the wall the same time the ball hit his glove, and he held on. He's made great catch after great catch this season already.
Doesn't matter where you put him. You'll be very happy with him out in center field. Devin Travis has also felt Brandon Moss tonight.
The only hit that Moss has was a 1 hopper that went off the chest of the second baseman, Devin Travis, in the 3rd inning. And it was a bullet right in front of him, and he played it off his chest. He never gave ground. It hit him up on the left chest area. Aaron Loop has had some problems in this ballpark in the past. Last year with the Blue Jays, a chance to sweep the series. Came in the ball game with the Blue Jays ahead. He had 3 walks with 2 outs, and David Murphy hit a 3-run double down the left field line. So the Indians were able to salvage that final game of that series. Look at this. That's a fair ball. Donaldson has to go over into foul territory as that ball was bounced just inside of 3rd. And now Brandon Moss said, see, it does even out. Pillar took one away from me, and I got one back right there with that little chopper.
Sure, he would like the other one because it would have been extra bases and an RBI, but he'll take this. This is the risk that you run when you've got that kind of shift on versus left-hander. 2 strikes, swinging bunt. That stays fair, and it's a base hit.
Well, Ryan Rayburn has 2 hits tonight, both coming against lefty pitchers, and he's facing another lefty here in Aaron Loop. A little extra giddy up on that fastball. 2 singles for Rayburn. Three hits for Ryan Rayburn. Moss will stop at second. (13 for 31 against lefty pitching so far. He likes it when there's a left-hander on the mound.
And he's seen 3 of them tonight. 3 base hits. 1 to left, 1 to center. Now this one to right field on the line. Indians have something going here in the 8th.
Still nobody out. Josh Donaldson in for a conference with Loop. Lonnie Chisenhall. Loop checking on the coverage at second with his middle infielders.
Well, he has to retire this guy right here.
Yeah, this is the man you have to get.
Yeah, you'd like it to get a ground ball right here. Get a couple of outs with 1 pitch, but he has to retire this left-hander.
Indians have now out-hit the Blue Jays 10-6. Cleveland's not done well in these situations tonight with runners in scoring position. They're just 1 for 7. Roberto Perez, the catcher, is on deck. I think Luke was real sure about this next pitch.
Yeah.
So instead of throwing it home, he just did that inside move and will regroup, rethink.
Make sure you get your good grip. Make sure you know exactly what you want to do here. Like I said, he's got to get this guy out. And he's 1 pitch away from losing him.
Walks have been an issue for the Blue Jays. They've had just 2 tonight, and both of those came from Daniel Norris. Chisnall gets jammed at second for 1, back to first, not in time. Chisnall did a good job of coming out of the box in a hurry. Moss goes to third on the play. Travis with a quick turn, but Chisnall hustled down the line.
Yeah, they just could not finish that off. It was a very slow developing play because Chisnall got sawed off. So it's a humpback liner to short. Travis does everything he can to try and finish it off, but Chisnall outruns the baseball. You can see how that ball took a long time getting out the shortstop. That gave him time to run it out.
Runners at the corners now for the number 8 hitter, Roberto Perez. Just down out of the strike zone. Perez has struck out twice. He's also walked. Bottom of the 8th inning. Blue Jays trying to protect a 5-1 score.
1 pitch you can get out of this inning if you make that pitch. He's a candidate for a double play.
He's also got some power. Got 3 home runs so far this season. Changeup.
Not a bad idea.
Liam Hendricks loosening up for the Blue Jays. That's Nick Hagedorn. He has been throwing before, and both bullpens are active. Tough pitch. 94 miles an hour right on the inside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We mentioned the Blue Jays have turned just 2 double plays on this entire road trip. And they came in the same game. This could be number 3. Diaz to Travis, back to first base. That'll do it. The 6-4-3 double play ends the bottom of the 8th inning. Aaron Luke gets the double play to end the inning. A couple of hits don't hurt. Just the 3rd double play turn by the Blue Jays. This the 7th game of this road trip. Travis with a good turn at second.
watch the Blue Jays anytime, anywhere. Visit Sportsnet in the App Store to download. I don't know if you've seen the app yet, guys, but it is a great one.
Barry, it covers everything you need to know in the sports world, and check it out on Sportsnet app. It's brand new, and it's good. Russell Martin will lead things off here in the ninth. Martin's had a good night at the plate. Officially, he is 1 for 2. RBI double, scored a run, and he's lined out to center. Nick Hagedorn, the left-hander, into the ball game in the ninth. Brian Shaw was great. Shaw retired all 6 that he faced and struck out 4.
Yeah, 6 up, 6 down, 4 punch outs. Here's another guy who can punch you out. Look at the numbers for Nick Hagedorn. No record, 245 earned run average, 7 innings, 11 strikeouts. He's a hard thrower, comes right over the top, and he's got a power slider.
Hagedorn came to the Indians along with Justin Masterson and Brian Price from the Red Sox in exchange for Victor Martinez. It was a good trade for both.
It's taken some time for him to develop. They saw him when they acquired him. They saw him as a starter, but he has transitioned into the bullpen, one of those starters that has moved into the bullpen. He's become very effective. Batter's hitting just 172 against Hagedorn.
That was a July deadline trade 2009. He had been a starter in the Red Sox organization in the minors. Martin with a 2-1 count. Now it's 3-1. It'll be Martin, Pilar, and Pompey for the Blue Jays in the ninth. Ball 4, leadoff walk. That'll bring Kevin Pilar to the plate. And Pilar has had a good night at the plate. He had a 2-run single in the 4th and a great night in the field.
Yeah, this is the one that we're going to be talking about, I think, from Kevin Pilar. We've seen 3 or 4 great catches, and you got to put this one right in there. The context of the game, this was going to be a run right here, but no fear. He runs right through that ball, right into the wall, braces, catches it, holds on, squeezes the ball for the final out of the inning, and it saved a run for the Blue Jays. Took the brunt of that with his left shoulder against that wall.
Yeah, he's not coming out of a ball game unless there's a bone sticking out. He's waited too long to play.
Yeah, that's right. He's getting his chance, and he's taking advantage of it.
Inside, it's a ball and a strike. Kevin made that terrific catch at Rogers Center earlier in the season against Tim Beckham. It took a home run away from Beckham up high over the wall and left. One of the best we've ever seen at Rogers Center.
Have you seen one better this year?
No.
I can't think of one better than that. Again, it saved another run. Went up over the wall, took a home run away from Beckham.
Tried to catch up to that high heater.
Hagedorn throws hard. Pilar was trying to hit it harder.
His base hit in the 4th came with 2 strikes. Pops this one up. The rain is picked up. Right fielder Brandon Moss looking up into that rain makes the catch. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. We are in Cleveland, Ohio, first of 4 games, and you can see the rain coming down a little harder right now. This is the left fielder, Dalton Pompey. He's 0 for 3. Blue Jays have just 6 hits, but they made them count. 4 of those hits came in a row in the 4th inning. Encarnacion, Valencia, Martin, and Pilar all had back-to-back hits. Martin's was a double.
The other hit was a double by Bautista and a single by Encarnacion that got a Bautista thrown out at the plate.
Good rip by Dalton. He went up to that high fastball. Brett Cecil loosening up in the Blue Jays pen. Jeff Francis, Roberto Osuna, Aaron Loup have worked in this ball game in relief of Daniel Norris, who lasted just 3 innings.
Not a save situation, but Blue Jays want this win right here, so they're going to go with their closer with a minimum of a 4-run lead. Hopefully the Blue Jays can tack on a few more.
Well, John Gibbons is looking ahead at the rest of the pitching matchup for the Indians in this series. It's Carlos Carrasco against Mark Burley tomorrow night. Saturday night, and we want to remind you it's an early start time. It's 4:10 Saturday afternoon. Corey Kluber, the reigning Cy Young Award winner in the American League, goes up against Aaron Sanchez. And in the finale, Trevor Bauer against Drew Hutchison. There's a base hit for Pompey. Martin will go to second.
There you go. That'll make you feel good. Get a base hit in the 9th inning. Turned on that one. You see him shaking his hand just a little bit. He might have got some stinging sensation on that ball. Got in on a little bit. You'll trade some pain in your thumb for a base hit, won't you?
He'll take it. That's for sure. Trying to get those bees out of those hands. So here's Jonathan Diaz. He had a squeeze bunt in that 4th inning, capped off the 5-run inning. The Indians not looking for the bunt. They're playing back. There's one out, of course. So Jonathan Diaz will have to drive in Pilar.
You see him take a quick
Russell
look
Martin's at second.
To the third baseman.
Yep.
See how deep he was. Maybe he'll drag one here.
Martin's at second. Pompey's at first. Russell walked to start the inning. Martin's walked twice and doubled. 1 for 2 tonight. Hagedorn throws that high fastball, and he's got a lot of confidence he can pitch upstairs.
Throws hard. Mid-90s fastball. Power slider. That slider is a swing and miss pitch, but so far tonight he hasn't been able to get it in the zone. There's a slider right there, but you can see he's leaving it up.
87 miles an hour. As a hitter, you got to make him bring it down, get it in that strike zone. Everything upstairs. 3-1 to Jonathan Diaz. Devin Travis is on deck. Finally got one down into the strike zone. It's 3-2. Ball 4, bases are loaded. That'll bring Devin Travis to the plate. He's hitless in 3 trips, but he's had a great month of April. Travis ranks right up there with some of the all-time rookie months of April. When you look back, Eric Hinsky holds the franchise record with 27 hits in the month of April for rookies. Then Travis right behind him.
Probably his last chance right here to tie Eric Hinske in that great month in 2002. Devin has had a great month also. He's also had a rough night tonight.
Physically, he's been beaten up. Got one off the chest. Fielding at second. Bounces this ball. He'll go home. Back to first. Double play. A 5-2-3 double play. That's the way the top of the ninth ends up. Devin Travis finishes up 0 for 4. But Cecil into the game.
Next Issue, your gateway to the world's best baseball stories. Sign up at nextissue.ca/baseball and get an extended 60-day free trial. Those folks looked about as cold as I feel right now, Buck.
It is a cool night here in Cleveland, Barry, and they are bundled up. And Blue Jay fans, so far so good. Their team has the lead. We're in the bottom of the ninth. Blue Jays bullpen has been pretty good tonight. Overall, the team has only walked 2, and that's a big improvement from what we have seen on this road trip.
And that was both Daniel Norris, Francis Osuna Loop, and now Brett Cecil, his 10th game. Last work 2 nights ago when he picked up his first save in Boston of the season. This is not a save situation for Brett tonight.
Justin Smoke comes off the bench, takes over defensively at first base for Edwin Encarnacion. It'll be Michael Bourne, the number 9 hitter, and he bunts it, and Smoke is going to shovel to nobody. Brett was late getting off the mound. Michael Bourne starts the bottom of the ninth with a leadoff single. Now it's time for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osmak.
For the Tribe stepping in, number 22, Jensen Kempton.
Thank you very much, Ivanka. All coming up right after this ball game, and we are in the bottom of the ninth. Michael Bourne dropped down a perfect bunt to the first baseman, his first hit of the night. Back to the top of the order, Jason Kipnis. He's 0 for 4.
Certainly made a lot of sense, didn't it, for Michael Bourne to drop the bunt down?
Need some base runners. The Indians are down by 4. They've out-hit the Blue Jays 11-7 tonight.
They have already left 10 runners on base, so the Blue Jays have met, but they have not broken tonight.
2-0. Cleveland 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, and that's the reason the Blue Jays have that lead. Bouncing ball. Travis has to give ground. Throws to second. They get Bourne. That's all they'll get. They get the lead runner. Kipnis is 0 for 5.
Boy, Devin Good job right there. He's playing a little bit deeper, not really in double play depth, but he's got that strong arm where he can gun the ball and get that lead runner and keep that double play in order for the Blue Jays.
One out. Michael Vilas has scored the Indians run tonight. He doubled in, was driven in by Michael Brantley. As a breaking ball strike, it's 1-1 to Aviles.
Took a little something off of that one. He's faced Aviles 3 times in his career. He knows all about Mike. Mike's a good fastball hitter. So Cecil has tried a couple of off-speed pitches to him.
Hot shot. Donaldson goes to second. Travis turns it quickly, and just like that, ball game. The Blue Jays got a couple of big double plays tonight. Brett Cecil comes in and gives up a bunt single, but the double play erases the base runner, and Blue Jays win the opener here 5-1.
You know what this was all about, the bullpen. Daniel Norris had his troubles with his command. He was only able to pitch 3 innings, but the bullpen came in and slammed the door shut. Francis Osuna, Loop, and now Brett Cecil to finish it off. It only took 1 inning for the Blue Jays to score. They got those 5 runs early, and the bullpen made it stand up.
Blue Jays win the first of 4. Good night for Kevin Pillar with the bat and the glove. A reminder coming up next right here on Sportsnet 1. It's Sportsnet Central. On now, more hockey. Caps and Rangers. A little bit later, how about some Flames and Ducks? Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night. Here's Ken and Ivanka.